Hey everyone, Aaron here, and this is my 60-second review of this channel. Not 60 seconds, 60-second, like the 6'2". And today's review is going to be of Black Lagoon. I actually been planning to do a review for this for a long time, and I have not, unfortunately. Not because I haven't watched it, but more so because everything else kept popping up, and I figured also stay away from stuff that is overly popular. Black Lagoon's popular, but I think there's a lot of people that still haven't given it a chance to watch it, and I'll hopefully turn you guys the right direction watching this. So if you've never seen Black Lagoon, the main concept is that our main character, Rock, his actual name is this way longer name, but I always forget it off the top of my head, is a typical kind of business worker. He goes through life by any other means. You know, he tries to work his best. He's kind of pushed around at his job. He's treated like crap. And then one day when he's on a business errand with his company to kind of deliver this material to someone, he is actually kidnapped by a group of pirates, essentially, or more so a mercenary pirate group called the Lagoon Company. And through a weird series of events, he's actually left for dead by his company, you know, told off that they're going to put him down as dead, that he died during some incident, during an overseas incident. And he has a choice, either A, literally die, or B, kind of work for Lagoon Company. And what's great about that is then you start meeting these cast of characters that are all crazy, including the most famous girl of them all. I mean, there are everything that has like the most craziest girls or the hottest girls or whatever has Revy on there, because Revy is awesome. But as the series progresses, it's kind of just him dealing with being in this kind of world of just pure darkness in terms of everyone is very corrupt. They have all these messed up things that go around. He has going around them, like, you know, stealing, theft, murder, rape, etc., etc. And he's now in the smack dab middle of it, you know, as part of the Lagoon Company. Oh, I couldn't say that for a second. As part of the Lagoon Company, he actually now has to deal with that. And he now just kind of sees his character kind of develop into this hardened guy where he's trying to keep his own sanity intact, but at the same time finding that the corruption around him is corrupting him secretly. Now, I'll say it real fast, this is not a review for Roberta's Blood Trail. That I'm going to review on its own, because I think that's, even though it's part of the series, I want to review it on its own, so you'll see a second review of this way later, maybe a few weeks from now. That will be a whole different review. This reviews the first 2 seasons of the show. And I'll tell you, Black Lagoon is a freaking awesome show. I mean, it has good music, it has good voice acting, it has good storytelling, very well done concepts in terms of plot, animation. It's just overall a fantastic show. I mean, I consider it one of the coolest shows ever because it just hits everything high note wise. You know, you have different arcs in terms of like storytelling, because you'll have like maybe 4 or 5 episodes focused on one certain arc of the story, and then another 4 focused on another arc. And I think that's really good, because instead of rushing it or trying to do formulaic concepts of episode by episode base, it lets you have, like, you know, almost like mini TV series for it, almost like Bleach, akin to Bleach, but without the filler. A lot of Black Lagoon is not filler. You know, all these arcs are important to the kind of growth of the characters and the growth of our main character, Rock. And I know he's not the main character of the show, but a lot of what's told to the show is from his perspective, so I consider him the main character as narrator-wise. But all the other characters have precedent. There are 4 characters that have the main plot, and they're all, like, I want to say important to the story, because they do narrate a lot of the concepts that happen around them. But Rock will always take center stage in naming what's happening around him, talking about how he sees everything from his eyes. And it's kind of nice to grow with him as a character, to see him go from a very lighthearted person to kind of almost, I don't want to say a corrupt individual, but a darkened individual, where he starts seeing the typical thefts or the murders as not crazy or disgusting anymore, but more so parts of his life. And it's interesting to see how, you know, what would happen if your psyche is always exposed to that. And I think this show is fantastic, I really do. Animation's good, again, plot, very good, storytelling, very good. Voice acting is awesome. I really highly suggest watching this in English. I know a lot of people will say, oh, well, the subtitles are good. The subtitles are fine for this, but I think English voice acting for this is the way to go, because it presents a more understanding of what's happening in terms of story and how characters are acting, because the show tries to go with a more action-packed, you know, dark kind of humor that is akin to stuff from the Western kind of concepts. Overall, though, if I had to review this from an A through F, honest to God, I know this is going to surprise people when I say this, A+. Black Lagoon never hits any notes of boredom. I never found an episode of Black Lagoon boring. I always found every episode 1 through 24 to be full of action, to be full of suspense, great storytelling, great character concepts. It's just a phenomenal show. You know, you might see my top 50 why it's lower on the top 50, but because, again, I always tell people, you know, that top 50 list, and I keep explaining it because I have to keep explaining it, but that top 50 list is more so not because of grade per se, but because of impacts. You know, shows have different impacts. Black Lagoon was lower because its impact was different than other shows, but it's still an A+ show. It's awesome. Check it out if you have never checked it out. If you're on the fence about it, I don't know why you're on the fence. Go jump off that fence and go run off to the stream and go watch the show. I don't know what the hell I just said, by the way. That sounded cool in my head, but I think that came off making no sense whatsoever, so I apologize for that. Anyways, guys, though, that's it for this review. If you like it, like, comment, subscribe. The whole 9 helps me out. And as always, guys, until our paths cross again in the next review, have a good one. Bye.